All right, thank you everybody for joining in N1MD podcast. In light of recent events, we here in the show, Brian and I, just kind of want to start off with a moment of silence, 10-second moment of silence of the show, just to remember and to support all the things that are going on right now in the country. So we're going to start off with a 10-second moment of silence. All right, thank you. Well, this is going to be a different type of show this week. We are going to get into sports. We're going to get into everything we normally talk about, but we have something that we, as Black men, as Americans, have to really get off our chest and talk about this week. So, and definitely, we're not going to take words out of each other's mouths. We're going to just talk about our own experiences and feelings and thoughts and whatever else, and just really just from our hearts and how we feel. So. Unless you've been sleeping under a rock or you left the country or whatever the case is, it was an unfortunate event that occurred. Thank you for the Oriole outside. You're not Oriole, man. Outside chirping. This is why I had the windows open.
Orioles are awesome.
Yeah, well, yes, they are. Seriously. On Monday, this past Monday, a Black man was murdered. George Floyd in Minnesota by a police officer. And we had to talk about it.
Yeah, this has just been something that just has been on our minds. And like I said, normally we don't go this route. Normally we just stick to sports and entertainment, but I know this is an issue that's been bothering the both of us, and just feel like we had to talk about it, you know. Just really just want to talk about what happened, but also maybe just enlighten some people as to just how it feels just as a Black man in America today. It's just sad to see another unnecessary death that occurred from, people who are supposed to protect us. And it just, it saddens us. It enrages us. It just makes us wonder, why is this, still in 2020 still happening? And we just want change. We just want people to understand, the anger, the hurt that we feel. Like this is truly how we feel. I mean, it's okay for us to feel this way, and we don't have to apologize for that. And I think I get disappointed that this keeps on happening, hurt, but also get disappointed by a lot of the response that's out there as well. Seems like when things happen, it seems like the narrative gets shifted to other
every single time.
Every
single time, because it turns political. But
yeah,
and when you're born, there's no political party plastered to your body. You're an individual. You're a person. You belong to a group, a country, a state, whatever it is. It's where you're from. I'm from New York. I was born in America. I'm Black. Period. Those are the things. I'm a male, Black male, born in the United States, Yonkers, New York. All those things are things that I was born into. You know what I mean? Just those specific things. There's no political thing going on when you're born who you are. It just is what it is. Only thing you can go by is your life experiences. And I know from my life experiences, we've all been through a lot as a Black man, walking into a store, being followed, being stopped by the police when I was 16, walking home from my after school job, being asked where I was going, what I was doing, what I was wearing, why I was, walking in that direction. at every little thing because there was a McDonald's that was robbed. Now, mind you, I was walking home. I had a book bag. I had a tie on. And I'm walking home. I just got off the number 9 bus, the Nanuet to Nyack bus, because I worked at Walden Books, which isn't even around anymore, in Nanuet Mall, my part-time job that I would leave when I was in, that I work at after high school. And I'm just walking home, and I get this light shined in my face. I'm 16 years old, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? You know, never been stopped before. I was like, can I? But again, my mouth has never changed. I've always been the same person. I was like, can I help you? It's like, where are you headed? I'm headed home. Okay. I was like, can I help you something? They're like, you fit the description. I was like, I fit the description of what? And they said McDonald's up the street was robbed. And I was like, oh, he's wearing a tie and had a book bag? So at that point, they proceeded to call me a smart ass. And I was just like, well, I'm just asking you a question. Is this exactly what he looked like, or they look like, or whatever the case is? I was like, and then I was like, you know what? My mom's home. She got home before me after I just got off of work. You can go talk with her if you would like. And they're like, no, you have a safe trip home. And then they just rolled out. When I told my mom, I don't think you haven't met my mom yet, but she's like this 4'9" firecracker. Okay.
Okay.
She was heated because she grew up in a time where even in New York, schools are segregated. Okay. She grew up in a time when she couldn't vote. She grew up in a time when her rights were different than everybody else's. Where water fountains she couldn't drink out of, places she couldn't go and eat. All those things happen a generation. Even, I mean, don't get me wrong, things happen like that today, as we all know. But it's back then it was in plain view. And we're just a generation removed from that. So the hatred and vitriol and dislike towards us is still here. That doesn't go away. Things can still get better. I think people forget that. Things can still get better, but there's still underlying things, and people just go about things differently. There's the subterfuge. There's the people behind the scenes. There's you want to talk about the riots. There's the people out there who are causing the riots. There are people out there pouring gasoline on fires, not trying to put them out, and not on the side that are aggrieved. We're grieved. We're grieving. We're aggrieved. You know what I'm saying? And there's people out there who are just throwing gasoline on it, not trying to help out, not trying to sit here and talk or have a dialogue. Just let's keep throwing gasoline on this fire. Let's keeping it burning, and then trying to blame that on us. There's a whole narrative of things that go on here. And we've gone through it our whole lives, being stopped in a car while we're driving for whatever little misdemeanor. And then it's, before you know it, you're talking to one officer, then it's 7. For what? A traffic violation? What are you here for? Then all of a sudden, wouldn't you feel intimidated? Why do I need 15 cop cars here for a registration issue?
Right.
When it's, everything is in my name, whatever the case is, why are there so many? Why are there so many issues? Why are you arguing with me? Why are there so many people here? Why is this such a big deal?
Right.
And it's and we're always put in this in a situation where we're fearful every day. If it's not for us, it's for our family members. It's for our kids. It's for our cousins. It's for our nephews. It's for everybody we know. It's for our friends. Every single day we live with this at our jobs, going down the street, going shopping, walking outside, going jogging.
Right.
Things happen to us. And it always gets turned. I mean, it always gets turned into something else, and this shouldn't be turned into anything. I don't care about Target getting looted, robbed, whatever the case is. That has nothing to do with anything. This is called rage.
People are angry, Hurt. People are angry, and
where do you want that anger to go?
Right.
Where do you want it to go?
And the thing that's kind of upsetting is people are angry. They want to take out their frustration, their rage, their anger on something. Of course, I don't agree with rioting, but people are angry, and they try to protest. You try to protest peacefully. People don't like that. You know, I was a big critic, you know, Colin Kaepernick and his peaceful protest. And I was a critic because I felt like, you know, I agreed with the protest. I felt I didn't agree with the place of it. But here's a guy that's taking all this flack, you know what I mean, for
Don't have a
silent.
job back. Not even have a job back. He lost
Right.
his job.
Right.
Lost his job. Haven't gotten it back.
But he silently protested. Right. But yet, and you know, he got all this criticism, like you said, lost his job. People hate this guy as if he was a criminal, like he killed somebody.
Yep.
But yet, you know, we can silently protest. But then when, you know, you want to stand up and protest and go other places, still get criticism. It's like you can't please, you know, you can't please people. Whereas you don't hear a lot of criticism or frustration on the other side when people show up to protest with weapons. You know what I mean?
Over this COVID thing. That was over. Yeah. Oh, I don't want to wear a mask anymore, or I want to get my hair done. Not because somebody was murdered.
But you know what? But you and I understand it, and I don't want to diminish. I don't want to take away the reasons for why they were protesting, because I think their reasons were legitimate too. But I'm just bringing
it's how are you protesting?
Exactly
the way that they protested.
But not only how they're protesting, but how it's perceived, what their narrative,
how it was treated,
right,
and how it was tweeted.
yeah. But and look, I just want to say a couple things, and I'm glad. I'm really glad we're talking about this, Hurt, and because it's like, as a person, as an American, I want to be. The issue is this. We wake up every day as Black men. We want to be judged based on our character. We want to be judged based on that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to look at me and make a judgment. I don't want to be denied an opportunity based on how I look. Judge me on my merit. Judge me on my character. You know what I mean? Judge me on that stuff. But don't judge me based on my physical representation. Also, don't try to delegitimize how I'm feeling about something, because you're not in the same situation, Hurt. I mean, you're not in the same situation. Try to understand where we're coming from rather than trying to fault us for a certain way that we're feeling or for a certain way that we're responding to something. And that's the, look at me as a person first. That's all we want, Hurt. That's all we ask. That's all we ask, man. Just when you see me, see me as a person first, and see us as people first. And I just want to talk a little bit about me and my experiences, because this is the reason why we feel. This is the reason why we feel the way we feel. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I try to do my best to abide by the laws, right? I am a pro-police person. Okay, I support the police. I support the police because they go out every day, not knowing if they're going to come home. They put their lives on the line. And honestly, I wouldn't do that, Hurt. So I applaud.
There's a respect for that.
Right.
Yeah, there's a respect for that.
I admire that, because they're doing something I wouldn't do. At the same time, we expect them to, they're our protectors. They're our enforcers, right? Enforcers of the law. So we hold them to a certain standard as well. Okay. And I'm not going to sit here and say, everybody's crooked. No, I'm pro police, but I'm also pro right is right. You know what I mean? But Hurt, how many times have you been pulled over? You see those flashing lights behind the car, and automatically you get nervous.
Or even forget it. How about when you pass a parked police car?
Yeah,
it's not even if it's behind you. I get nervous seeing one.
Yeah.
Not even when the lights are on. The lights could be off. It could be moving apart.
Right.
All of us, I'm not, mind you, going the speed limit that one time, maybe. Passing it. It's just this. My blood pressure goes up.
Yeah.
Just because I don't want anything to happen. Not saying it's going to, but I don't know who he is. And he may not care who I am.
Right.
But in that situation, in all those situations, we are powerless.
Yeah.
And that's not a good feeling to have. So I didn't mean to interrupt your story, but go ahead.
No, I just want to give a couple of examples just so people understand, this is the reason why I feel how I feel, and I feel like a lot of Black people feel the way they feel when it comes to just dealing with the police. Like I said, and this isn't bash the police, because that's not the point, but I just want to make the point. For my first experience, much like yours, I was a young man in college. It was my freshman year in college. I got a canvassing job, trying to sell home improvement stuff, windows and stuff. The people. I got dropped off in a really nice neighborhood. I'm knocking on doors, giving my spiel. I had flyers in my hand, everything. So I'm knocking on one door. Cop car rolls up. What the heck? Cops giving me a hard time. What are you doing here? I'm like, officers, and it was more than one officer, right? It was more than one officer. Officers, I'm just trying to do my job. I showed them my flyers. I did all that stuff. They're still frisking me, going in my pockets. I'm like, I got my business stuff right here. I got my materials right here. And just like it makes you feel like you're not a person. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't roughed up. I wasn't beaten or anything like that. But it just makes you.
It's psychological. You don't need to.
Right.
Unfortunately, that happens to too many people. But you don't need that to feel like, why are you still violating me for no reason? Like, right. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Right. Another time I was on my current job. Now, this one I could understand a little bit more, but basically I had my work attire on, and a part of my real job is I do investigations. So I was investigating something, taking pictures. Baltimore City rolls up. What are you doing? I guess I look suspicious because I was in a parking lot. So maybe they thought I was, casing the area or whatever. But these are things that you have to be aware. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be aware of this. Like, you still got to be aware of this stuff because you don't know how you're going to come off. Luckily, I had my business card and everything. All right, they gave me a hard time, but it's still kind of scary because I got
but why give you a hard time? Why is it the whole giving you a hard time? Why is that always a part of the story?
Right. The one that frustrates me the most, though, you know the story because we were both down here, was the Myrtle Beach thing. We're leaving the resort. We're about to go to the boardwalk. I made a quick right-hand turn, and I got thrown off by the lanes. I made a quick right-hand turn, but I turned into the wrong lane. I didn't know there was a cop behind me. So I essentially cut off the cop. It was a simple mistake, right? And as soon as the cop comes up, hurt, I apologize. I explain my situation. I'm not from, of course, I'm not here on vacation. Yeah. I'm not real familiar with the streets and stuff yet. Yeah. So, officer, I apologize. Very nice, very cordial. Man looks me in my eyes like, okay, now I want you to tell me what you were really up to. And I just look back at this man. I couldn't believe it. Like, I didn't even respond.
But mind you, did you? I don't know if you're going to get to the story, but no, you're going to get to that part. Go ahead. I don't know.
No. And the reason why I was just so mystified is because, first of all, I'm in a minivan.
You're in a minivan, yes,
with my wife and 5 other kids.
Well, I don't know. There's not 5 other kids, but 5 kids.
We're in Myrtle freaking Beach. What do you mean? What am I really? What you see me?
What kind of question is that?
Yeah, and I didn't even know how to respond. Like, what am I really up? I looked at him. I turned and looked at Leslie. I was like, what more do I have to do?
Yeah, like what I would have been like, what do you mean?
Yeah. So, he's taking my stuff, looking me up, take my license, look me up. It's like, why does it have to be like this, man? If you're gonna give me the dirty looks and all this at Myrtle freaking Beach, dude, resort, vacation, family.
You sound like you're in a car by yourself in some sports car, looking like you sitting there, got your dad clothes on, like I got my dad clothes on, got your wife next to you, kids in the back. Your first question is, what were you really up to? What does that mean?
After I apologized and I explained to you what happened. Dude, I
remember I talked to you. You were I mean, you do get heated every now and then, but I was upset.
Yes,
because I did not, and especially if El Boogie gets upset, it's Hey, honestly, at least for us, it's worse when our spouses are around. Because if they get upset, then our level goes 10 times
Yes.
higher than what it normally would, because then they're getting upset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the kids are getting upset, and they're saying like, what is going on? And and to me, that's a fear, having my kids in the car
Right.
for anything happening.
Right. And let me tell you, I have one more story, right? Speaking about kids being in a car, I was driving on Pulaski Highway. I think I was just driving. I don't know if a light was out or what have you, but all of a sudden, flashing lights, right? Once again, minivan with the kids. So I pull over and I turn back, and see, this is what we do. I turn back to the kids. I don't want them to get worried, and I'm turning back, right? And I'm just explaining to kids, don't worry, nothing's wrong. The police probably just want to see what happened. As I'm turning back, all of a sudden, flashing lights right directed towards me, and I'm thinking, why are they flashing the lights on me? Then it occurred to me, this dude probably thinks I'm probably reaching back for a weapon or something like that. So I immediately turned around because I didn't want them. I was like, I don't want to put my kids in danger, but all I was doing was turning around trying to calm, because the kids were a little bit, they were like,
I was like, what's going on? What's going on?
These flashing lights. What? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, don't worry, kids. And they shine the brightest light on me.
Yeah, it's like that's how it was when I was walking home. It's it's a single light all up in my face. I can't see you. Like, I couldn't see them.
Yeah.
I had to move to see what was going on, because all I'm hearing is this voice directed towards me in a threatening manner, questioning manner. What are you doing? Where are you going?
Yeah.
You fit the description.
Right. And oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead. No, you finish it.
No, I was just going to say, and we're just bringing up these points just to say this isn't something that we're fabricating. This is something that we're making up. These are real life things that have happened to us, law-abiding citizens. You know what I'm saying? And these are things that happen to us, things that we have to think about with interaction
every single day.
Right. These are things
when we go to bed, when we wake up, when our kids go out in society.
Right. You talk
because again, he was somebody's son.
Right.
He's somebody's father.
Right.
He's somebody's husband. He's somebody's brother. All those things are what we are to people as well.
Right.
And then what does it take for us to be in that situation? It doesn't take a lot.
Right. And it's funny. One of the things you talked about earlier, because and we're just talking about these are things that we have to think about as Black men every day. To this day, I could go into a store. Honestly, it amazes me how much this still happens. You go into a store and you're being followed,
or watched, or just. Yeah. I honestly, everywhere I go, I just smile in the camera now. I just smile in the camera.
It amazes me how much.
Because as a kid, I never listen. My mother raised me right. Never stole anything. This wasn't that kid. I was always afraid of what could happen and what may happen. You know what I'm saying? And I was raised off of I'm saying a fear, but you respect. You respect. My mom taught me to respect people.
Right.
And like I was telling you earlier, as a kid, I had nightmares from watching Do the Right Thing when Radio Raheem was killed, and just from that video, and I couldn't believe that. I was like, man, did that, stuff like that really happened? And we all know the Rodney King stuff happened when we were in high school, I believe.
Yeah, we were in high school when that
happened. We're in high school, and you're just like, are you serious right now? Like, what is going? Like, all these things have occurred in our lifetime, and we've seen, unfortunately, numerous African American men, killed for no reason in every state. We can't even just narrow it down, in every state, and just for being in the wrong place, just for reaching for a wallet, and not even knowing, like for my kids, coming over here from another country, just trying to teach them. You may not understand what they're saying or how they're saying it to you, because they won't understand that line of questioning. They'll get confused, and then their accent is a little bit thicker, and then someone else gets upset, and they're freaking out. I don't want that to happen. So I had to kind of role play with them. Why should I have to do that? Why should I have to role play with them about a scenario which could end up with them something bad happening?
Yeah.
No one should have to do that.
No, we shouldn't have to do this, but this is things that we have to think about. I was telling you earlier, doing this whole pandemic stuff, I realized I had to kind of change my behavior a little bit because I do my early morning shopping and stuff, and and it was a little bit colder.
It was 2 a.m.
But it was until recently it was cold outside, so I'm doing my shopping not only with my mask, but I got my hoodie. And early in the morning, hoodie on, mask on, those are things we got. I had to kind of change my behavior.
Yeah, but we were just talking about how nice it is outside, and it starts getting dark closer to even 9 o'clock. And we both, live in, neighborhoods where, I don't know if I want to be, even though people around here know me. They see me. I lived here for over 7 years. But I don't want one person getting confused and say, I don't know that black guy walking down the street.
Yeah.
When it's kind of dusky and it's a little. So I don't want to go out too late, and I don't want to go out too early walking around.
Right.
And I had to tell my kids, you can't walk around with your hoodie on.
Yeah.
But people won't see you. They can't see your face. They won't say, oh, that's Kevin's kid. Right. We can't do that. Mind you, everyone else is doing whatever they want to do.
Right.
But it's like we can't. We always have to be on guard.
Yes. Yes.
And that feeling doesn't go away. It stays with you, even when we're doing a podcast, when we're off the podcast, when we're with our families, when we drive down the street, whatever we're doing, that on guard is always there.
Yeah. And it's a real thing. And this is legit. This isn't fabrication. This is something that these are things we legitimately have to think about. And sometimes I think there's a population of people that don't quite understand that, but it's true.
Or don't care to understand. They just don't care to
understand. But these are things that we have to consciously think about.
And they make it political. This has nothing to do with politics. It has to do with being an American citizen and having your rights violated.
Yeah. So I just want to say, when it comes to these things that just keep popping up, and this isn't, this is awful and it ended in someone's life ending, but this is only one example.
This isn't a trend,
right?
This is. I should say it is a trend. This happens almost weekly. It seems.
Yeah, like. In the past couple of weeks, we've had some murders, people wrongfully murdered, people wrongfully accused, or someone trying to fabricate. Well, it was a complete fabrication of them being threatened.
And that was in New York.
Yeah.
In one of the parks, this guy's sitting here bird watching. This lady's dog is not on the leash, which it should be. He's like, you need to put your dog on the leash. She takes offense to it and decides, oh, let me call the police because someone's threatening me about putting my dog on the leash because it should be on a leash.
All right.
Excuse me? And then making up these lies. And that's exactly how we get in the situations we get into.
Yeah. Yeah.
It over you supposedly put your damn dog on the leash, lady.
Right. Nobody's trying to cause you any harm or trying to be, confrontational. We just want you to follow the rules like everybody else has to.
Yes, like we have to, like you have to, like everyone else. But you want to be. And again, just saying that. Luckily, we have to record everything nowadays.
Yeah,
everything has to be recorded.
Yeah,
I forgot who.
Thank goodness for cell phones because we wouldn't even know about this.
Exactly,
man.
But I think Will Smith said, people think racism went away. It's not. It's just being recorded now. That's all it is. Now you get to see everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And another thing that you're talking about reactions. Tom Brady even tweeted about this. Tom Brady tweeted about a hashtag for Mr. Floyd. And Joe Burrow came out, and JJ Watt came out. So I was shocked at how many people in the sports community have, besides the regular people, like of course LeBron, Steven Jackson, who knew him, came down and had a rally. Of course, a lot of regular entertainers. Which is in this fight against racism, you need people. Taylor Swift coming out saying something. It's which probably won't make Kanye happy. So it's so many things like that happen. And it's crazy. So, but it really surprised. Like Tom Brady really doesn't say anything, but the fact that he has even come out and said something was kind of just like, wow, Tom. It shows you how wide-reaching. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining or saying they should have said something when all these other cases happened. Certain things hit certain people in different ways at different times in their life. But for him to come out and tweet a response and to show support this is just a really huge situation, and it's hit people in sports as well as regular life. And I was just kind of shocked by like I said, JJ Watt having talking about it and having to showing his support, and Tom Brady and Joe Burrow. I was just like, wow, it was. I guess it was just that kind of took me by surprise.
Yeah, and I just think if people just kind of understood, it's going to be hard, because unless you go through it, you're not going to quite understand. But just be open minded. Let's have a conversation. You know what I mean? Let's keep talking about this. Let's keep having our voices heard, and not having our voices. Don't quiet our voice. You're not going to quiet our voice. Just try to understand. You know what I mean? Just try to understand.
No, you got to feel the rage. You gotta understand where it's coming. It's hurt. When you're silenced and when you try to be silenced, it's this built up anger. It's this built up frustration that comes out. Don't try to silence people that have something to say. Right. You need to hear it. And they try to take those things away from you. But
yeah.
So I know we rightfully so, because we had to talk about this. I know we were going to do, I advertised the NY and the MD draft. It's not going to take place today. It's just not, I don't think it's just the appropriate time and place for it. So that would be at a future date. I will let everybody know. So everybody tuning in, because I did promote that. I do appreciate you being here, and I hope you stay for the rest of the conversation, because we will be talking about sports. But the N1MD draft will probably be taking place, if not next week, within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So, all right. So
we just both felt like this was something that we couldn't.
We had to talk, but we both felt the same way.
Yeah.
That's why I called you last night. Just like, dude, which I'm glad we agreed.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have not talked about it.
Yeah, and I had no idea that's why you were calling.
Yeah.
I called you. I was like,
I know you text me. When you get a set, call me. I'm thinking, what's wrong?
Right.
But yeah, I called you last night. I was like, I got to talk about this. Like, I got to get this.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm hurt. I'm angry. I'm upset. I don't like feeling this way, and I feel this way often.
Right. Too much.
And it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be like that, man. It shouldn't be like that. Like I really want to wake up in the morning, come in and do my podcast and just feel good about it.
Yeah.
And just talk about sports, talk about fun things, and just not think about, how's it today being a black man in America? I don't want to, but that's part of our lives that we have to deal with, so. All right,
Eric, take us to a happy place.
All right, sports.
They're coming back, Kurt. They're coming back.
Yes, sports is coming back, and we have a decision that has been made. So we're going to start off with that first, and then we'll go on to the NBA and the NHL and MLB and all this other stuff. Oh yeah, and I want you to get into MLB because I know people miss us arguing, so we can argue about that.
Oh yeah.
But first, the Premier League is back. And we'll be coming back. This whole left side, right side camera thing gets me all thrown off. And we're coming back. The first games will be on June 17th. And the Arsenal game, we're playing in Man City that day, which happens to be a Wednesday. And the first day back of that. And Brian, who is not a Premier League person, but since there's no sports, he started picking teams in different leagues. Like, he'll watch Bayern. No, he won't watch, believe me. But he'll say he'll follow Bayern Munich and other places, or the Korean baseball organization. His Who's
Dino.
your Dinos?
Yes. Real quick, I just want to say thanks, Doc. Yeah, you're right. It does help to talk about this, and we need to talk about it because we
In
are heard
public.
and we are in shock, and our voices need to be loud and clear,
Yes.
and we deserve to be heard. So I agree.
Yes.
But yeah, her basically the Premier League is about to start up, and you know me, you've been trying to get me into watching soccer, right? Excuse me, football.
Well, first I tried to get you into college football because you
Right.
weren't even into that. Then you finally
I've
started.
gotten a lot better though.
You got a lot better. You got a lot better.
Yeah.
So
I can tell you conferences, teams, and conferences now.
Yeah.
I can tell you rivalries now. Like I'm a lot better with that.
but I think that trip to college game day helped.
Yes, that was
that trip to college game day.
That was awesome.
Really kind of like, yo, you didn't, that day was a magical day. That was I always think about that day often. Just going there. Coach was there. Everybody, just all the people, the signs from Army and Navy. Because Army and Navy were playing that day at the ATM.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, go ahead.
No, but I was just gonna say, okay, I have not been able to get into soccer, right?
Yes.
And you've been trying to get me in. So with sports being out and Premier League about to come back, I'm like, I think this will be a good time since there's no other sports. This will be a perfect time for me to pick a team and start following the Premier League. So when's it starting up?
June 17th is the first day it's official.
Oh, June 17th. All right.
Yes.
All right. So in a couple of weeks. So basically, I did a long and hard search. I was like, I'm gonna pick a team.
Oh, so you studied. Like,
Yes,
did you know? Well, okay. What was your formula?
I didn't really study.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I did very little research.
But what was the formula of you picking whatever team?
I will let you know that once I reveal who my team is. Okay.
Now
I texted you yesterday, right? And what did my text? What did I say?
Oh, you can't wait till your team plays my team or something?
Well, no, I said I've narrowed it down to two teams.
Yes, you did. Okay, and neither one of them were Arsenal.
Right. I told you I wasn't picking Arsenal.
Yeah, which is fine because again, we don't have any teams in anything.
Yeah.
I mean, we're born in two different places. That would be rare anyway.
Yeah.
So
I did pick a team.
All right. Well, also, whoever you pick, depending on who you picked, will also dictate how the rest of the show happens. So I do want you. God, thanks. See this dude here. Yeah, but yeah, Fred. You know what though? I do have to give you a call a little bit later to discuss some things, but that's off air. But yeah, okay. I get a lot of people aren't into soccer. I mean, really, what soccer clubs are in Virginia anyway? Especially in Bluefield. But oh yeah. So depending on your answer, Brian, it could depend on the longevity of the podcast as well.
All right. Well, first I'm going to give you a hint. Okay. Hopefully you can hear this.
Man City.
Yeah, Man City, baby. Yeah.
Why did you pick Man City?
I said Blue Moon. We rolling with Man City, Hurt. And I only had one criteria.
Who won a recent amount of championships?
The funny thing is, I don't even know anything about Man City, so I was going to let you tell me, like, I don't know if they're good, they're bad.
I'm going to tell you nothing. you on your own. Matter of fact, this has been up way too long, as a matter of fact.
So I only had one criteria. I looked at every team's home kits, and they had the
powder blue.
And not only did they have powder blue, but they had some purple in there, too. I was like, this is my team. This is my squad. We rocking Man City. I was going to go with I think it was Burley Football Club. That was the other one I looked at.
You remember though? Didn't you have a team? It was like Bournemouth.
Oh yeah,
Bournemouth should have been your team. We were just talking about because you just like saying Bournemouth.
Yeah, I just like saying it.
Yeah, that should be your team for Bournemouth.
Yeah, Burley Football Club, right? Or Burnley?
It's Burnley. Yes,
Burnley. Yeah,
yes.
They had the powder blue kits too, but theirs had maroon in them, like Arsenal. I was like, nah, we ain't rocking that.
It's claret and blue, I believe is what they call it.
Yeah. So I am officially rooting for Man City. Now, was that a good pick? Like, how can you like? Because I don't know anything about their history. I don't know anything about them other than their uniform. So,
well, they've in recent history they've been one of the best teams in the Premier League.
Oh, okay, all right.
Like they won their first championship. I think it was like 7-8 years ago.
Oh, all right.
And they won the last 2
championships.
Yes, in the Premier League. They're not going to win it this year, but they did win. They did win the last 2.
Oh, so they have a chance for a three-peat.
No, they don't have a chance for a three-peat.
Huh?
No, they're far away in second place. It's not close.
Wait, the season already happened?
No. Obviously, the season had to be suspended, but they're too far. Yeah, they're too far back to catch.
Wait, didn't you just say Arsenal's playing Man City?
That's our first game on June 17th.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
Our game at home with no fans against Man City.
Oh, yeah, we got to watch that game. We
ain't got to do nothing.
Yeah.
No. And until you can name 2 players on that team, we're not even talking about it.
That's easy.
All right, go ahead.
I mean, I can't name them now.
But... Oh, okay. Yeah, so there you go. All that studying, all that Middle Eastern money that went into that club. Can you even tell me who their rival is?
I'm just going to say Manchester United.
There you go. Thank you.
Oh, hey.
I was like, it should be an easy answer to that. So
yeah, I mean.
So who's your other club? It was Burnley, right?
Yeah, it was Burnley. I just said that. Yeah.
Yeah, but Bournemouth, man. I'm surprised you didn't go with Bournemouth.
But I gotta go with the powder blue kits, man.
Well,
that's my color.
Sky blue.
Yeah, same thing. Pretty much same thing.
Yeah, one's powder, one's sky. I guess they'll just call it. But. So Premier League comes back. Baseball, no, NBA. NBA said they're coming back the 31st.
Yeah, July.
I believe. I think they're going to come up with a vote next Thursday.
Oh.
About the whole format and testing and everything, and I believe they're going to play maybe all at Disney.
They're not doing West Coast, East Coast.
I'm not sure. I think it might be at one place, unless it's both Disney's. But I'm not 100% sure. But it would be cool if they're all in Orlando, like the women's WNSL. The women's soccer league, WSL. They're having a tournament in Utah. And all the teams, there's 10, and they're all playing all their games and just having like this challenge cup just to determine a champion. And they're actually coming back in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
So that's, that's exciting. So that's sports coming back. This is, of course, NBA's coming back to the season. Mark Cuban said it doesn't, as long as they get back by August, because everybody wants the season to start in what's going on, homies? A classmate from Nyack. What up, Touche? I just want the NBA to come back. Yeah. I miss the NBA. It's one of the, this part of the season. Now, I want you to talk about, I don't think they're going to do it, though. I think they're just going to do the regular seating like they normally do. But when I was talking to you about the whole 1-16 seating thing, how did you feel?
Now, you know me. I'm a purist. I don't like change too much, right? But you were telling me the matchups, and I liked it. I actually think they should do that, Hurt, because all the matchups were pretty good. I mean, you would have more West teams from the West in the playoffs. Which has been your point for a while. There should be better teams in the playoffs and not have the 7, 8, and 6 seeds from the East with losing records in the playoffs. But no, I would look. I'm down with anything, honestly. I'm down with anything. I just want to see sports back. So if they reseed during the playoffs, I'm for it, man. I'm for it.
Wow. I mean, you mean reseed? Like you think they're like in terms of the non-conference thing?
Yes.
Okay, so. Would you be upset if it was a Toronto-Milwaukee final or a Clippers-Lakers final?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, see, that's where I think people are
Yeah, you know, you
kind of
can't.
having an issue. They don't mind the rounds of the playoffs, but then when it gets to that championship part, people are going to have a hard time. Like if any other league kind of now again, it you have to make a step to break tradition, right? And it usually has to be a big step in doing something. This would be it, and then there wouldn't be any going back to it, honestly.
So how do you feel about that?
You know me, I don't care. No, I don't. I want to see the best basketball teams play, which again, it could be Milwaukee and the Clippers or whatever it is. I still think the Clippers had the deepest team, but it would take. I like change. You know me. I'm more of a change person. I like change, but it would take me a minute to get over I guess since we were born, the 40 plus years of East versus West. You know what I mean? It would take me a while to get over it. Like I still having an all LA final is fine as long as one team was in, one division. It's different in basketball. You know what I mean? Like in baseball, you could have a Dodgers Angels World Series. But because they're in different leagues, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here, because everything is regional, that can't happen. So I would have a hard time mentally dealing with a Clippers Lakers final. I really would.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have to go. I don't like that. I don't want to see Toronto, Miami in the finals. You know what I mean? Or Milwaukee, Toronto in the finals. No, I think they should be separate from conferences. All the major sports are like that, man. I mean, there's no other sport, other major sports where teams from the same conference play each other in a championship, and I just don't think that should be the case with basketball.
Yeah, but I don't think any other. When you think about it, I'm not sure if there's any other sports that are so like imbalanced. You know how all these teams in the West are over 500, and then like I said, you have the East, which has usually been garbage. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like in football, there's teams that have gotten to the playoffs in both leagues that are 9-7. That won a division and that's gotten in, and a team that's 10-6 may not have made it. Or that year, the Patriots didn't make it; they were 11-5, I believe, right?
Yeah,
something like that. And they didn't make the playoffs because they didn't win the division, and so that happens in football on both sides. In basketball, it's just different when you have teams that are so good that are just being left out because that conference is so good.
Yeah, I mean, I understand your argument. I just like,
it's hard. It would be, but to me, like this round of the playoffs, the first round, I would support it right away. I would have a hard time with a all Western Conference final. I couldn't.
Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard to put that in my head.
Yeah,
honestly. So, but when it comes back, they're probably not going to do it this season. Well, we'll see. I just wanted to come back. I can't wait. I know they're going to get to that vote next week. So, but that is unlike what the NHL is doing. So the NHL is supposed to be coming back also later on, I believe in June or July. So they announced a return to play plan where they have 24 teams starting with a 16-team 8-series qualifying round. And a seeding round robin among the top 4 teams in each conference to determine the seeds for the Stanley Cup playoffs. So they're also going to have testing and everything, but they're going to have 2 hub cities, I believe. I'm not exactly sure what the hub cities are because, it's a lot of teams are in Canada, a lot of teams are in the United States.
Yeah,
so I guess they're going to have a Canadian city and I'm sorry, go ahead.
They have 10 teams in the running right now, 3 Canadian teams, Winnipeg, Toronto, and Edmonton. And then it was 7 U.S. teams. Yeah. So they haven't selected the cities yet. I meant to say, but yeah, there are 10 cities in the running right now.
Yeah, so that's exciting, and it's again, everybody's got to compromise and come up with something different. Yeah, and they're coming up with something different. So I can't. I have to. Getting back to basketball real quick. Yeah, I agree. They do want Zion in the playoffs. That first round. And plus, just imagine that. So you could have LeBron and the Lakers against Zion and the Pelicans, but they still got to qualify. They still got to qualify because I still think they're under 500. And if I looked at the basketball 1 to 16 rankings, I still think they're behind, if I'm not mistaken, Orlando, who may have the last seed in the East.
Okay.
So they still would have to win those couple of games to get back. And how good of shape is he going to be in after being off this long, to be honest with you?
Yeah.
You know, they got to get back into shape because he wasn't 100. Are they going to keep playing him all those minutes too?
Well, but I mean, he's had a nice break. You know what I mean? So,
true.
And he hasn't played most of the season. So I think Zion could come back a little bit rejuvenated. You know what I mean? So, yeah, but you're right. I agree. They would love to have him in the playoffs. Yeah, a first round Lakers Pelicans series would be great.
Yeah, they're 28 and 36 right now. So they are 3.5 games behind Memphis.
Oh yeah,
who has the 8th seed in the West, and they are. Let me see. Eastern Orlando is 30 and 35, so they're a little bit closer to Orlando. They're about like a game and a half out. So, but I don't know, man. That's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Yeah,
so.
But I would love to see the NBA come back quickly and soon. And
I don't think they're going to play out the rest of the season. They can't. There's 17 games left? About?
Yeah, I was about to ask you. I don't know if this is it 17? I thought it was more like 12 or something like that. 10 or 12, but I don't know. But I think they would have to play some games just to kind of
17 games left.
Play out the rest of the season, possibly. But I think there has to be some regular season games just to kind of get you back in the swing of things. You don't want to go into the playoffs with this huge layoff. I mean, granted, you have practices and all that stuff, but no, you got
scrimmages and
but you got to play some games before you go to the playoffs. I think
definitely. But I just want to come back and whatever format they use or whatever the case is, I'm perfectly fine with that.
You know who I wouldn't mind seeing not coming back? Hurt?
Who? What?
These crybaby baseball players, man. You know what? You know, baseball's our favorite sport.
Man.
But I get sick and tired of hearing these players complain. I just get so sick and tired, man. Out of all the sports athletes, man, baseball players I just can't stand them sometimes, man. I can't.
So, what is your major? Because we all know the owners have come out with their first proposal,
right,
to restart the season as far as salaries go,
right.
And if it was a haircut. If you want to use the term, it was a haircut. It went from like Big Daddy Kane's high top fade to what I have right now. Okay? They want to give him a pretty large haircut. Okay.
So basically, what they propose is they want to, let's say, I think it was like pay the minimum the players with the lesser salaries,
yes.
Like the minimum salaries at like 70 or 80%. And have the more higher salaries players being paid at like 30%, which is ridiculous. I mean, that's not going to happen. Basically, they try to take from the haves to pay the have-nots, and of course, the haves aren't going to have it. And I don't blame them. Here's my argument, right? Right now, the owners have absolutely zero revenue coming in. Okay, they can't. When baseball resumes, they're losing a huge portion of their revenue. They say it's 40%. But you got to think about it. They're not going to have ticket sales. They're not going to have concessions. They're not going to have parking. Not only that, but you might lose a little bit of advertising because you can't have fans in the stands. Because, there's certain parts of the stadium that have advertisements, like some of the electronic boards and stuff like that. Have advertisement on it, you're not going to have revenue from that. So they're definitely losing out. And if I'm an owner, I got to think in the back of my head, will I lose less money by just shutting out the whole season or by reopening baseball? Because you're going to take a loss either way. Now, the players are like, okay, we're getting our prorated salary. So if they only play 82 games, they're only getting paid for 82 games. So that's 82 games they didn't get paid for. I get that. And they want to get paid at their full salary, and I understand that. But if the owners have a major revenue loss, which is how they normally get paid anyway. The players, how can you expect the owners to pay you at your full salary when they're taking a huge loss? So I think there's got to be a give and take. Now,
I think there's going to be a give and take. It's just not this big of a give and take.
Right, exactly. But here's the thing: the owners trying to put the bulk of their losses on the players. I think that is wrong, and I think that's just an initial proposal. But the player's going to have to give a little bit, otherwise they're not going to get paid.
Yeah, no, but I believe they're going to. I was just surprised by the fact that you were more against the millionaires than the billionaires.
Yeah, because
even though now it seems like we're kind of on the same page
because they've been more outspoken, and I've heard them say, "Well, I'm not playing unless I."
Yeah, and that's their problem. Yeah, you're 100% right. You can't go on social media like Snell and just start. Oh, it ain't safe unless I get my whole salary. Don't say that.
Right, but you're not going to get your whole.
But you're going to lose that battle. That's public. As soon as you tweet it. You're going to lose public perception. You're going to lose that. And that's why the owners are smart. That's why they're billionaires.
Right.
So they'll go out and they'll like, oh, let's put this proposal. Let them holler about money or whatever. We'll just sit back. And the public's going to be like, you're greedy. You're stupid. You need to go play. Blah, 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 blah. And the players fall into that trap.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, Blake Snell's right about da-da-da. And the money and he should get paid $30 million and not 15, and we're just like, we ain't getting money at all. Like people aren't working. So this is what and it makes the players look bad instead of being a concise unit. And again, this is one of the strongest unions.
Oh yes,
and I know you do have individuals. For instance, David Price is taking money out of his own pocket to play the Dodgers minor leaguers.
That's cool. That's
like
cool.
$1,000 because there won't be any minor leagues.
Right. Right. And here's the thing, like the players got to know this too. If there's no season, that's going to really damage baseball, man.
Yep.
That's going to be huge. I remember the 94 strike, that crippled baseball. I know people stopped following baseball because of the 94 strike. And a lot of people just went away. Now
that's why they had to come back. That's why they had to come back. I know you were saying about the owners, like if they just closed out the whole season and not come back, and I get that. That makes sense. But dude, you cannot have a season. If there's no baseball, I don't care when baseball comes back. If there's no baseball, they're already falling down in terms of TV, maybe a little bit of attendance. But if you keep this up, you will be fourth. You will be fifth. You just keep going down. So yeah, they did. They cut a lot of minor leaguers.
Well, the minor leagues in trouble right now because they're trying to contract a lot of teams.
Yeah,
around the country, they're trying to contract teams, and owners are trying to save money that way. I think that's a huge mistake because this is how teams are built. This isn't like football where you take first round and second round draft picks and you can put them in your lineup right away. Minor leagues, these players take time to develop, and you need these certain, these different levels of the minor leagues to develop. And they're starting to, and they want to get rid of them, which I think is a bad idea. I think it's a really bad idea. The baseball draft is only having 5 rounds this year. The baseball draft is normally 40 rounds?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's only 5 rounds. And that really hurts a team like my team, the Orioles, who are in full development mode, who are really just trying to develop and replenish their minor leagues, which have been horrible for the past 40 years. So, I don't agree with that. Plus, think about all the cities around the countries, man, where the minor league teams are really supported by the local towns, and where those communities and cities really rely on it. Heck, we went to remember, man, we went to a minor league game, and it was one of the best experiences I had at a baseball game. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Did we go? Yeah, did we go to that game in Myrtle Beach?
Myrtle Beach Pelicans, man.
Yeah. I love the Pelicans. That was a lot of fun.
And the cool thing about that game, remember, it was like nickname day, right? So on the scoreboard, they had all these crazy nicknames for the opposing teams, and they were fooling around with their photos, with their bios and their pictures, and it was just such a cool experience, man. And in these cities, I mean, in these minor leagues are all around the country, in small towns and in small cities and stuff. And for some of those places, that's the only baseball they get to see, and you're going to take that away. And it's just, I just think that's the wrong idea, man. But we really I feel like baseball's at a crossroads, and if they mess this up, they're going to really damage their brand, and they're going to damage their sport, man.
But they may end up just being in a crossword puzzle. You know, I mean,
yeah,
at the rate that they're going, because you know, again, we love the sport. I grew up wanting to play baseball. Even Touche remembers I played baseball.
Yeah, we go
through all high school. Yeah, through
Triple
well, Norfolk. Well, you know, Norfolk is where David Wright grew up.
Okay.
So shout out to David Wright and the Tidewater Tides. One's turning to Norfolk, and you know, we need minor leagues, but baseball needs to come up with something. It needs to come up with something. They need to play this season, and they will. They will. I know it's going to go back and forth, but they cannot have a season.
Nah, and think about this, Hurt. I think they're really being short-sighted right now. Think about if they were the first American team back to sports. They were game fans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because nobody else, what other sport is there to watch right now? They would gain fans. They will have ratings. They will gain goodwill. You know what I mean? It's like they're just being so short-sighted right now. I think in the long run, this will be such a good thing for baseball to just start up. But
by the way, did you even hear about the NHL and any money issues?
Say what?
Did you hear anything about the NHL and their players or any money issues?
Nope.
Nothing.
Nope.
We're having a season. But have you heard about, go ahead.
In their defense, though, NFL, I mean, NBA and NHL, they've had the bulk of their salaries paid. You know what I mean? So
yeah, but there's still no haggling, it's not as public, and you're 100% right about that. But I'm sure somebody would want to complain. But they're like, hey, let's just go back and play.
Yeah. But
you're right. Go back and play.
Yeah, you bring up a good point.
You know, NBA players. I mean, there's been some talk, but not as much. It's always baseball. It just seems like it's always baseball.
So you were nice like that in high school, Hurt?
Well, I mean, you know, being the third baseman that I was, I'm not sure how many games Touche saw when I went to high school, but I appreciate that, of course. So yeah, I think he definitely played basketball. He saw me sitting on the bench most of the time. I think I probably got some water for him the majority of the time while I was sitting there. I was really good like towel guy when it came to basketball. As, you know, starters come out, throw them. You know, Coach Gray had me on the bench, sit there, throw him some water. So, you know, so it's one of those things. But yeah, baseball, little different. So I love these. This is must be flashback Saturday. But yeah, it's and by the way, Touche, man, thank you for supporting the podcast, man. Really appreciate it. It's just, you know, sports needs to come back to take us to a place where we haven't been in a while. We've been through so much with the pandemic. I know now a lot of states are opening up. Texas is talking about even having an only open air arenas, maybe having 25% capacity. Even here in Maryland now, we have outdoor dining.
Yeah, this is good. I think this is great, man. I think the time is right. I think things are getting a little bit better. I think we need to just have wisdom with what we're doing. But I definitely think I'm glad we're in this direction, man. I think it's right. I think the time is right. So
I don't know. I have to say, this is probably one of the toughest episodes we've had. How we started off.
Yeah, man.
And I still just want everybody to just stay safe and just stay safe. We're gonna have more fun hopefully in the future. We have a lot of drafts coming up. We have a lot of brackets. Who's a great co-host?
Yeah. Come on, man.
Well, not after he picked Man City for soccer. He was doing okay a second ago. Now he has to roll out on me. So yeah, we will have the New York and Maryland draft soon. That's going to be fun. Where we pick the 5 things from each state that we're going to draft, and people can get to vote on who has the best list, which would of course be me.
Nah, no.
And I mean, you haven't won one yet, so I mean, we have to.
Well,
get
that's
this.
about to change, man.
Yeah, I doubt that. I highly doubt that.
Hey, Herb, real quick before we end up,
Yeah.
I just want to touch real quick on. I wanted to get your thoughts on the match.
Yes, I almost forgot about that because my head's been every place else, dude. That
I know
Tiger Woods, Phil, Brady, Peyton Manning was gold.
Herb, let me tell you, I thought they did a great job with it being no fans there. I mean, no crowd there.
They didn't need one. They had Charles Barkley.
And with the weather, I was like, oh, man.
Oh, yeah, it was raining. It was raining.
Yeah, it was raining. I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. But, dude, it started off slow, but it picked up. I thought the banter was great. I thought the golf carts, the fact that they had golf carts with the cameras in them was great. And the fact that they had mics where you could hear everything they were saying and they could hear everything the commentators were saying. Brooks Koepka called. Charles was getting on Tom Brady.
Dude,
I love the fact, when Charles was like, "Yo, Brady, I'll donate $50,000 if you just hit the green." I was like, "Oh boy, this ain't gonna be
that
good."
That was cool though. It's like live betting, yo.
Yeah.
It was like live betting on the broadcast, and then other people. Russell Wilson was calling in.
Yeah,
it was like, "Hey, we'll donate 100 meals or 100,000 meals to whoever gets within like 6 feet of the cup," and it was 3 of them. Everybody but Tiger. You saw that? Like Tiger's the only dude that was outside of like 12 feet, I think it was. Outside of the 12 feet. So yeah, it was dude. That was
but the best part of the day, man, because you could tell Brady was getting irritated with Chuck, yo. And Chuck, I'm like, wait a minute, Charles, you need to cool it just a little bit, dude, because your game is not that good, man. So just chill. This is Brady. Yo,
we all
Brady
know
Brady hold out from the fairway, son. Yeah. I was like, my man, that was awesome,
dude. But I'm glad Phil wants to kind of make this an annual thing.
Yeah,
and he brought up who did he bring up? Romo, was it? And maybe Mike Jordan, which I don't want.
So look, apparently. The match was so good, like everybody went in on it.
Well, it broke records.
Yeah,
I mean, it broke records.
But there are a lot of people that want to golf with Tiger and
Phil. But they should be the only ones to do it, though. I don't want to see anybody else.
It should be Tiger and Phil versus whoever. I don't want to see
or Tiger versus Phil with whomever.
Right, because their personalities are so good. Another thing I really like, and it's funny how I like Phil now. Remember we used to hate Phil?
Dude, Phil was a jerk.
Yeah,
Phil was
hate Phil.
But he's like Peyton.
Yeah.
Out there just telling jokes. But I like the way he was teaching, but he's like, I'm reading it to the left. And it was all that. This is why I don't have the issue where I miss fans. I want fans because I want to go to these games, right?
Right.
But I like the fact you would never be able to hear these guys say this is breaking left, use this club, use that club. No, that wasn't Gabe. We both had goggles on though. That's why he's confused. So Gabe had goggles, I had goggles. I got the rebound off a free throw and went back up and shot in the wrong basket. And if you I know this is interrupting everything, but this is still funny. Touche, I know you remember Brock. Brock always called me wrong basket man for the rest of my life from now.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that was not awesome. that was not awesome. I was not happy with Brock at all because of that. So just you couldn't hear the reaction that happens between, didn't really have a caddy, but between players. Just in the broadcasters and JT Thomas was great on the everybody.
It was good.
It was so good. It was so good. And then it was funny because as it went along, the quarterbacks got better.
Yeah,
like they were really hitting good shots. They were reading the putts. Peyton was pretty well. And they had a 3 shot lead and they ended up just winning by 1.
I know, man.
So I was hanging in on every move, dude. I didn't even want to turn. So,
it was a great job. I thought it was really entertaining, and they gotta have a match 3, man. This has to be like an annual thing, man.
Oh, it needs to be. So, who are you nominating for next year?
I was just about to ask you the same thing. So, I want to see Tiger and Steph
There you go.
versus Phil and Romo.
Okay.
To me, because Steph and Romo are really good golfers.
Yeah.
And I would love to see that, man.
I would want to get Justin Timberlake in there one year.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
I know JT gets out there and golfs and anything, and I do not want to see Michael Jordan.
No, because Michael, you know what? And Michael's my guy, man. But he's, I don't want to see him getting pissed every time he misses the fairway or misses
but guess what? We would lose Chuck then. Chuck wouldn't be able to do commentary.
Oh, yeah. or hey, maybe we could have Tiger and MJ versus Phil and Isaiah. Hey.
Oh my God. Well, that might go into a fight. Does Reggie golf? Reggie can go scratch his face or something, and then they can play.
Yeah.
But as long as Michael doesn't eat pizza, we should be all right. So we will. So yeah. So I know again. Thank you everybody for tuning in for this week. Of course, we're on Facebook. We're on IG. Of course, we're here on YouTube Live. So subscribe and hit like. So we really appreciate it. And we're also on Twitter at NYTheMD Podcast. And if you just tell all your friends if they missed the live version, we are also audio only because sometimes you don't want to see these beautiful faces all the time. We're on Google Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, everywhere there's a podcast station, Spreaker, and Stitcher apps. You will find NYTheMD Podcast. And everybody, just please stay safe in every form and fashion that you can. Stick together and just love one another, please. And we'll definitely see you next week. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Peace.